interesting and exciting it's been playing host to different stakeholders in the Delta State Development Project. This is Deltascope. My name is Onome Iyaroe. This week on the program, we're playing host to a teacher, a journalist, and a politician, a one-time media officer to the Chief Judge of Delta State, former Chief Secretary to the first Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, a former member of the Delta State House of Assembly, and one-time Deputy Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, one-time Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, and former Commissioner for Works, Delta State, and the Director General of the Delta State PDP Campaign Organization. We're talking about Right Honorable Funkekeme Solomon. When our crew visited him, he shared so much with us that you would like to be part of. So let's see what we brought back from our discussion with Right Honorable Funkekeme Solomon.
You're a journalist.
Yes.
And can we know that part of you that we don't know? That's fifth column part of you that we don't know.
Well, you know that even while in school, I always attracted to journalism. I was editor-in-chief of the Campus Watch magazine.
What school is this?
In the days of College Education Abraka. Later turned to be Deltas University Abraka campus, Ikoma Abraka campus. I did my NYC with the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Enugu National Station. And while in the News and Current Affairs Department division, I was also a columnist with Daily Star newspapers, owned then by the old Anambra State government. I was also writing for New Outlook newspapers, published by Atawanko at that time. Besides writing letters to Newswatch, published in Observer, Newswatch, and all that. But I was very interested in journalism. Having read BA English, you know, I continued with them briefly before I left Enugu. I went to College Education Woli then, in those days, and started to teach in the sandwich program as a part-time lecturer before getting employment with ICE. Wari then. Yes, ICE Wari, Ojon Road in those days, to teach English. It was while I was doing all that I was appointed Chief Press Secretary by the pioneer Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Emmanuel Okoro. And that, I can tell you, will be the starting point of my political career.
You jettison your love for writing, your love for teaching.
Yeah. I mean, as Chief Press Secretary, you notice that that continues to be writing and reading and managing human resources, material resources for media. Managing the image of a principal is a more difficult business than any other thing. And when I finished with that, when Abacha took government, I returned to Wari, where I started out as private practice, I can say, media consultant, where I was continuing writing, freelancing, you know, before I was again engaged by the then Chief Judge of Delta State, now late Justice Omar Gige, as his senior media advisor. I was again on that beat, you know, before 1999, in 1998, when activities for politics came into full swing, and I decided, you know, to represent my people under the platform of APP at that time. Yeah.
Okay, that's the 1999. Yeah. Okay, your people being Burutu.
Burutu constituency 2, otherwise also called Burutu South. Okay.
So how was your first hot leg on politics?
Yeah.
How was it?
Well, let me right back. Now, I've always been interested in serving my people. In the College Education Abraka, I was Secretary General of Student Union. And at the Delta University, At that time, Ekpoma had two campuses, Ekpoma campus and Baka campus. I contested the vice chairmanship of the entire student union, and by the constitution, you are vice president of the entire student union, and you are president of Abraka campus. Okay. I won that. And so my interest in politics dated back to the university days. And I can say that that prepared me for the politics. So when politics came up, 1998, yes, I was ready to go into it, and I went into it.
And your first attempt was the State Assembly,
yes,
Burutu 2, and you succeeded.
Yes, succeeded.
Well, how was the battle in the beginning?
Well, at the beginning, it was actually, I can say that comparatively, that was real politics, real elections. It was wonderful, but I was contesting under APP and on the part of APP, and I won because I had done one or two things for my people. It was not too new for me to try and appeal to them that I'm ready to serve them in a capacity. And they also saw in me those tendencies of service. I've been served as student union president, and they know that I've had experience of knowing what to do in representing people. And I'm sure that accounted well for me. And I won the election, even though it was a battle.
And you stayed in that house for 12 years, yeah, from APP to AMPP, yes, to PDP. Yes. As soon as you got to that house, you were made the minority leader. Yes. Then after that, you grew in strength and bound, yes, and became the deputy speaker.
Good.
Now, share with us some of your experiences.
What are experiences, for example? In knowing what to do, knowing how to do, I can believe that first, apart from grace of God, God must give you the grace, His own grace, to continue to be in the favor, in the mind of the people, to continue to elect you. And I voluntarily left. I didn't actually contest again because I felt that I should do something else also. And having served them for 12 years, let somebody else also take over. That's my philosophy. I don't believe in seatitism. I don't believe that I'm indispensable. I don't believe that. I believe that everybody has a role to play or something to contribute to society. So having been a minority leader and having deputy speaker, as at that time, that to me had done my best. And I believe that my people also know that I did my best.
12 years. What can you look back and say, these are the things you did for your people? How many motions did you support? And how many bills did you preach?
Severally. I mean, it is countless. In my time, I used to do what they call town hall meetings. I used to meet with them, with my communities, various wards, to try to find out what they want. There was a time I visited my father, our national leader, Chief Clark, in his Burutu home. And he challenged me really that there was no higher institution in our region. And I took it upon myself. And I sponsored what now is the School of Marine Technology in Burutu, was my bill, a bill that I sponsored. And I sponsored the bill, argued it, lobbied, and the bill was successfully passed. I also actually was the one that started even initial funding. I have to ensure that the school started. So that's one landmark achievement. Secondly, I sponsored the bill that now led to the establishment of the Deltascope House of Assembly Service Commission, giving the staff of the House of Assembly security of tenure. That is also one landmark bill. Also, I also participated in co-sponsoring several bills. One of them is legislative aids, because as legislators, we need assistance, technical assistance, yes, to be able to be effective. Anybody who pretends he knows all is a human being. So that's also part of the achievement. There are many people who are under my scholarship because education is key to it. And there are also development. For example, one village, one ward, Tuomo is the village, for example. And when I saw that there were always problems in transition, we did community executives. And I gave the charge that if that particular year, I can't remember the year now, if they're able to transition successfully without any conflict, I would build for them a town hall. And I did. I donated a town hall to the community, which is standing now.
Now, was that part of your constituency?
No, it's not a constituency project. Yeah, personal.
Your personal?
Private, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sorry. Private. it's private project because I felt that peace is important, it's key. And now that they're able to transit peacefully, I did that. And it's standing. Nobody can dispute that fact. And apart from that, there are several. Today, the bridge that's going to cross from Egbu to Ayakurmo, that's ongoing, it was a project that I initiated. Because I believe that we need to connect the river to the land.
Great. So those are your years as a legislator. 4 years you were Commissioner for Works. Yes. A lot of things happened, yes. Obviously, infrastructures. Yes. So can we hold you responsible for 4 years of infrastructural development? Now,
it's important. Yes, you are Commissioner for Works, yes. Okay. But you see how government runs. Government works vigorously. Now, first and foremost, there is the Ministry of Works. Okay. 2, there is State Executive Council. Yes. 3, there's a State Tenders Board. Now, all these things are headed by the governor, heads the Executive Council. The tender board is headed by the Deputy Governor. Okay, it means it's headed by me. And no project can take place without the collaboration of these 3 key structures. Okay. You know, so you can hold everybody responsible. Not necessarily the commissioner. Commissioner of Works will initiate projects, but the project initiation is not exclusively preserved for Commissioner for Works. Okay, there could be other people who have community interests, traditional rulers, local government council chairman, party chairman. Everybody will want projects cited in various locations. I can tell you that what can stand out. You know, the Ministry of Works initiated and completed within a year 2 flyover projects, one at the front roundabout and one at the Saba. Yes. These are key apart from other numerous projects, you know, that, for example, we opened up a village called Ume. Ume, that's an agricultural belt, was cut off. Yes, cut off. That's about 7 kilometers road. Okay, that road was completed and commissioned. Okay, there are several other roads that I can tell you, rural roads linking the entire state. After that,
of course, power changed hand, and you went to become the chairman of the governing council of Zoro Polytechnic. Yes. As a chairman, how were you able to make sure that these things happen? Zoro Polytechnic have a stadium, they have a lot. I mean, tell us.
I have to bring my experience of several. For example, our chairman tenders board, a deputy speaker. All right? I was vice chairman tenders board, a commissioner for works at some point. Not the 4 years, but about 2 years or so. Okay. And I have supervised a Ministry of Works that could be said to be the nerve center of governance. So I need to bring all these experiences. Our minority leader was in opposition. He was questioning, as it were, the templates of governance. And our chairman, public accounts in the House of Assembly. So put all this together. When I got to Ozoro, with my colleagues with me, and of course we met a very innovative rector at that time, Dr. Barrow, and they will put them together. And we believed that it was better to develop the place. And we did most things from internal revenue.
Let me go back to your education background. After having a certificate, you went ahead and got a BA. Yes. And you were in service when you went to Leeds?
Yes, Leeds, yes.
Yes, to get you get a master's degree
in corporate governance.
Corporate governance, yeah. Okay. Do you think, I mean, why did you choose corporate governance? Why didn't you go for business administration? Why didn't you go for philosophy? Why corporate governance?
You know, what Nigeria like is corporate mentality. People, you see, winning together is what makes countries move forward. Yes. And corporate governance is about doing things, you know, a standard is set, and you must do things according to those standards. So it is a lack of corporate governance that makes business to fail. And governance should be approached as a business enterprise. And when that happens, it is then you can see successes. So I believe that since I have decided that it is politics that I will do, it means that I will be involved in management of resources, both human and material resources. And I need to equip myself. And that has paid off. For example, in Ozoro, for example, It is collective decisions. People understand that. I believe that people should fail together or win together. But when you say, oh, only me should win, that's why that brings problems. And that's what this country needs. This country needs that kind of corporate mentality. I chose corporate governance because I wanted to be equipped on how I can manage, team playing. When in the boardroom, for example, you can be board chairman, but without your colleagues, you can't win. And so that is its attraction.
Great. We have the resources. Yes. Like I said, we have three ports, we have 2 airports, yes. We have stadiums, and these are key indices to industrialization, yes. Commercialization, and growth. Have we been able to put these factors into the growth of the country, of the state?
There are some that are beyond the state, for example. The seaports are not owned by the state. All right? So there's little a state can do. Whatever the state is advisory. All right? The issue of Escravos Bar, for example. I hear that the president is dealing with it. That's a federal matter. Okay. The things that within the state, for example, are the things that the governor can handle. And as far as I'm concerned, he handles them well. All right. The issue of agriculture, for example, industrialization. I'm sure he has made it very clear that in the second tenure, it will face an industrialization. For example, revamping the moribund industries that were left behind by I can say, old Bendel State. Okay? So when that just those ones, adding to the entrepreneurs has created, I'm sure the economy will boom.
Yes.
And then increasing the infrastructural development, areas that probably, of course, you can't cover every area in 4 years. So all those areas that are not covered, I'm sure you cover them. Yeah. So when that happens, then you will collaborate with federal agencies to deal with the issue of revamping the seaports. Okay? And that probably will be the way to go. And when that is the way, it goes that way, of course, the issue of Delta State, going to the point where you can have industrialization. Of course, he has revamped, I'm sure, 6 technical colleges. So technical education is key. It's key to industrialization. You understand? So that's already been done. What it means now is how can we harness the results, the good results of technical education. The polytechnics, for example, have had almost all courses accredited. Okay? So if you go to my school, for example, Zoro, for example, we have entrepreneurship department. We are using our own students, to form teams. Even the stadium that we built was built by our own staff. We don't have there's no contractor. And so when that happens, what are we doing? We are making them to be self-reliant, to ensure that when we leave the polytechnic, they can create jobs, okay, and then get employment.
Hi, welcome to my new Delta. This past 4 years has been so amazing with Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa as governor. Lots of entrepreneurial and wealth opportunities has been created in the state. Infrastructural developments in all sectors. Over 200 roads have been completed, highways and urban roads. Primary health care has greatly been improved upon. Now you can get health support with ease. Even the educational sector was not left behind. It has received tremendous boost. The state has now become a sport destination. This past 4 years has been so amazing in Delta State. Who knows what the next 4 years will look like? Come with me. Let's create a stronger Delta with Senator Dr. Arthur Ifeanyi Okowa, my governor.
Sir, you've been in government since 1999. That's a whole lot of time. Congratulations. And you've been doing well. You've not been dropped to the extent that at this point, the year 2019 election was an election inside an election. As in, we had to go through fire to get there. You steered that ship. You were the DG. How did you manage it? How did you come to become a DG? How did you manage it?
First and foremost, I attribute to grace of God. I'm grateful to His Excellency, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, for finding me worthy, because it's the height of trust. You can say that this temperature was very high in the 2020 election. There were a lot of theories, a lot of stories. Okay, and they also had a lot of people boasted that their core assignment is to take over power by any means from His Excellency Dr. Kowa, and God didn't allow them. God says that He will not allow your enemies to carry out the enterprise. Dr. Kowa is a just man, having ruled the state justly, as it were. And Dr. Kowa is God sent. God helped us to manage, and we had a very good team put up together by the governor and the party, headed by Barrister Isiso. We had a very good chairman of campaign council, Professor Oyobari, and we had a team of directors and chairman and vice chairman of committees, and we're meeting regularly. We worked very hard. We met with there was nobody we didn't meet with, appealing to the Deltans that because Okowa has performed well, he has performed well, he has answered all the questions he raised in 2015, give him a second term. Secondly, there is an agreement in Delta that we should rotate the governorship amongst the central districts. And it's the turn of Delta North. If the Delta who loves peace in Delta will not go against this agreement, and Deltans are wiser, they can't take it for granted. And they responded by saying, yes, it is true that there is an agreement. And so that agreement has to stand. In that agreement is that you must vote for Kowa, who is from Delta North, a second term.
And you scored the goal?
Yes, scored the goal. We are grateful to God. No man on earth can take his glory except God. And so everything we have done now, we are returning all the glory to God.
Okay. In the first tenure of Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, it was prosperity for all Deltans. Now we're going for the second tenure, and it is stronger Delta. How can we make Delta stronger?
Yeah. Well, Delta cannot be stronger. It does equity. People work with equity, justice, and fairness. It is when there's justice, there's equity, there'll be peace. And when there is peace, there'll be development. And when development escalates, then it'll be a stronger Delta. A Delta that everybody will have a sense of belonging. A Delta that everybody will be committed to it.
What is going to be put in place?
Yes. Stronger Delta.
Are we going to have strong economy? Are we going to have strong unity? What's
That is, I've just told you, unity will be a product of justice and equity. And a united Delta is a stronger Delta. Now, it will make execution of projects, programs and policies better, seamless. There will be no counterproductive issues. People will support. It's only when the public supports a government, the government will be in a better position to be able to administer those policies and programs that they have. Now, it will continue to deal with the issue of job creation, the issue of agricultural revolution, the issue of technical education, the issue of industrialization. And all these policies, and of course, trying to create buffer zones, all these policies wouldn't be possible if Deltans are not working together.
Finally, Right Honorable Funkekeme Solomon, what will be your role in this stronger Delta?
My role is to support Dr. Kowa in managing the affairs of the state, supporting him in any way I can, supporting him as I did so during the campaigns in the elections. I will continue to work with him dependably, loyally, constructively in all the programs.
One question I ask my guests, stakeholders in Delta State, is why do you believe in Okowa so much?
Because he's a just man. He's a just man. He's a just man. He's a fair man. He's a God-fearing man. He's a very knowledgeable man. That's why we relax him. We relax him. Relax him because he doesn't say what he will not do. And he's a rewarder of those who have worked well for him. That's why.
All right. We'll be talking with Right Honorable Funkekeme Solomon a journalist, a politician, a teacher, once a teacher, always a teacher, a community leader. Thank you very much for coming, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Amazing interview session with the Right Honorable Funkekeme Solomon. So much he has shared with us. So much he knows about Delta State and its politics. So when people like him share with us on Deltascope, we don't take it for granted. Honorable Funkekeme Solomon has told us he's committed and dedicated in joining His Excellency to build a greater and stronger Delta State. It is on this note we'll wrap up this week's edition of Deltascope on television. For your comments, observations, and contributions, please use our various social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Thank you very much for being part of this week's edition of Deltascope. Next week, a fresh edition will be birthed. On behalf of the producer and the production team, this is Onome Iyarowe signing off.